Hey, Guido Fox here. Wonderful that you will watch this new book report about spiritual advancement. Nearly 230 pages of information. How you are able to evolve spiritual wise, how you are able to grow in your personality and change your character. That's an important keynote in this book is changing characters and personalities when you are raising your consciousness on a higher level and specific already the 700 consciousness level breakdown. 200 consciousness level, also an interesting breakdown from negative views to positive views, from negative behavior towards positive behavior. So changing of character is the key word here for spiritual advancement, because the most people are staying the same person year in, year out, day in, day out. They never reflect on their lives. They never reflect on their own behavior. They never reflect about their own conversations they have. They never think, hey, what I could do better this day, what was going well this day, what are my working points, what are my goals in life, is this the job I want, is this the relationship I want to be in, is this the family life I was always dreaming about. So there are a lot of things you have to reflect to go in spiritual advancement. And that is what's page 3. Page 3 is mentioned already, is the radical, honestly, vision about yourself and your life and your own behavioral destructive thoughts and patterns. So radical, honestly, is the starting position, and you can start with yourself to be radical honestly about your own life, because everyone is saying that he or she has the best life ever, the best life, the best Instagram life in the world. You have the best life ever, and you are your own life coach in your life, and you don't need a life coach, you don't need a therapist, you can all the things you can do yourself, right? um, I see in the dating coaching so many guys who wants to do it without a mirroring coach, without a coach who is saying, okay, I see this and this, and you can improve that and that, and you stay the same and you make the same mistakes and you cannot see yourself, you have no mirror, and you can be radical honestly towards yourself actually only when you meditate a lot. If you meditate, you become clear, you can see your own vision, you can see your own behavior, you can go easily back in the past. But the most people are not meditating, so they cannot see their own weak spots, and they cannot mirror themselves very good. And even when you meditate, a coach A meditative coach, a spiritual coach can recognize your sticky points, can recognize your weak spots, and can work on it. So, and it's really, really necessary for you to have a coach, a life coach in 2026, because it's needed to dissolve your ego. So, when you want to dissolve your ego and wants to grow in life, you need a life coach in the 21st century, because only then you can escape the matrix and go in a higher evolutionary stage, and you can break the evolutionary pattern in life. So radical honesty, very important to kill your ego. When you worked with a spiritual life coach for a bunch of sessions, probably your personality is changing slash is able to change. Your character can change. Your personality structure is able to change. Through meditation, to weaken the tightening ego mind construct, a little bit technical, you are able to change your character for a long durational time. It's not temporary. It's not temporary from a month and then a week. It is really for a long time. You are able to change your character in a positive way. And that is what Dr. Hawkins, MD, also wrote down in this wonderful book. You are able to change your character. And when you pass by the 200 CL, the change between negative and positive, in a short sentence, there are more depth knowledge about the 200 CL border. But if you're going higher into the 700, you get magnetism. You get attraction. You become supernatural. Supernatural means above nature. 90% of the people are deeply in nature, are very deep in nature, are a little bit in natural responses in the nature world, from fight, flight, defensive, wanting, grabbing, and are not growing through the natural stages in behavioral patterns. So growing through these natural phases makes you supernatural. So supernatural is not like a Superman that you can fly or something around this earth, but supernatural means that you grow out of nature. You had nature experiences. That's also what is shaping your life. Maybe you were in a fight in your youth, or in an adult life. You had to fight, real fight, mental fight, physical fight. So you were aware of nature dynamics. But if you pass by the 700 CL, you become a supernatural force. And because of the opening of the 7 chakras and the inner lines, you become a magnetic force. And for the first time, you feel yourself an Homo Spiritus instead of an Homo sapien. So you escape the Homo sapiens. You're not an ape. You're not an ape, I know, but you're an Homo sapien. But for the first time, you grow out of the Homo sapien personality and you grow towards an Homo spiritual, a spirituous being who is seeing the patterns, who is seeing their own patterns, who is very clear in mind, in clear eyes, and is very calm and relaxed and has magnetism. Magnetism in his or her behavior and vibe and glance, the face glance, the healthy face glance, and you look younger and younger. When you're more in meditation, you look younger and younger because you're so relaxed and you're so chill that there is no stress anymore needed in your life. You become a different kind of animal, a supernatural animal. You grow out the animal stage, yes, but you're still a kind of body-wise animal, right? When you're under 200 cl, page 113, I talked with you a little bit from the negative and the positive. When you're under the 200 cl, you're very defensive. You're aggressive, you're reacting aggressive towards criticism. If someone criticizes you, you're reacting immediately defensive. You are acting like a roasted chicken, right? So, you reacted very quickly with defensive attacking comments. You're very aggressive physical-wise. You never accept criticism about your surroundings, and it is very, very difficult for a coach to go through that hard eggshell. And because you're verbally and physical so aggressive, comments that you get are not able to go through you, and not in the mind. Not only in the mind, the comments are not able to through you, but also on an energetical stage. The spiritual energy is not able to purifying you to come into your system because you're so have a self-defensive system. So it is very hard to coach people who are under the 200 cl and they're not so advanced souls to go into stages of 700 plus, right? It's very better for me, or easier for me, to coach people who are already in stages 250, the acceptance stage. You accept the critics from your surroundings. The 300 stage, the willingness stage, the will to strive forward in life, to will to make something out of your life. So if you're in 250 or 300 or 400 in the rational stage, you're in a thinking stage, you're thinking maybe too much, but you're thinking about a good future. You're very rational. That's more stages that I'm able to work with you, and then you'll reject every comment I make for you. When you're higher in your consciousness, I told you early in videos, your life in the matrix will be very difficult. to survive, to feel all the impressions in your surroundings. You have to isolate yourself constantly to protect your energy field, to not create leakages in your life. So it will be very difficult. And Hawkins is also saying in his work that you only can sit in your ashram if you're higher in your spiritual levels. The only way is sitting in your ashram and share your positive energy and your wisdoms around. It is not able that you are surrounded by crowds and surrounded by a lot of noise. The matrix is noise. Noise, a lot of sounds like traffic, sounds of music, podcast, earphones, sounds of chit talks from your colleagues or family members. The matrix is a talking construct, right? There's nearly no time for peace and silence in the matrix. You have to go to the nature, right? You have to go to the forest, and there are very rare moments that's in your life, very quiet in your surroundings. Very quiet is a very rare and uncommon situation that you are in there. When you go into meditation in the night or in silence during the day, for the first time you experience silence. For the first time you escape the noise of the matrix, the gossips, the noise, the chat talks, all the sounds, the concerts. For the first time you are a silent being. So you have to walk away from the noise of society from time to time. I also understand that you not can escape fully from matrix noise, but you have to find silence spots. And that is what Jesus Christ, one of the guys who reached very high consciousness levels, who also said in his work, he said, I give you the chin. And it's mostly misunderstood. The traditional Christian people are saying, if you are in a fight, not fight back, but give your chin. And I see that as something weak, and you have to protect also yourself in dangerous situations, and you have to also come up for yourself verbally if you're being attacked for non-reasons. And Hawkins said also in his work these words of Christ, to give your chin, is misunderstood. And he said, actually, what Christ is saying, walk away. Walk away if the noise of the matrix is too heavy. Walk away if you don't feel comfortable at a certain place. I was today in a shopping store and I felt so many noise. I felt low calibrated people. I said, I feel not good here. I go. So in nearly 60 seconds, I know already I don't want to buy anything here. I move. I don't feel comfortable in this store, and I leave. I have the right to leave, and I give them my peaceful chin, right? So give your chin away is what Jesus said, and I know it for many, many reasons, that he means that you're able to escape the matrix or protect yourself from the matrix, to walk peacefully away from people who you don't like, people who you not feel comfortable with. If you're in a party and you feel aggressiveness, walk away. If you're not feeling well, walk away. That is what Jesus was saying. Walk away what is not compatible for you and your situation. One, I have to find a kind of bridge here. On page 133, Hawkins was talking about paranoia and a relationship with territorialism. Paranoia is heavily linked with protecting your territory. And that's also what you see in daily street dynamics. Groups of people are protecting their space. They're hanging around on streets to say, hey, this is my spot, and no one is coming around here, right? Very negative, low spiritual calibrated bubbles. You don't want to be in there. You want to avoid these situations because paranoia and territorialism are heavily related to each other. So also from paranoia, watching around constantly, that's your territory, can bring violence and aggressiveness. So it's very primitive, he told Hawkins, and the people are barely out of the animal stage. So if you recognize group dynamics on the street, hanging with a lot of people with mostly dark clothes, not coming there. Dark clothes also not good. But it's not that you react paranoia with paranoia. So their paranoia, because they have to control the territory, is senseless. It's kind of senseless. But they're not barely grow out of the animal stage, but it brings your energy level down. So if you meditate a lot, if you're following me and you raise your consciousness, you have to avoid low calibrated animalistic fields because your energy system will be leakage. Your leakage energy, and you are tired during the day, at the end of the day, and when you avoid low calibration fields, stressful fields, you are feeling better and you are in better mood and you are able to have a happier life. That's actually the summarize of this book about spiritual advancement, is that I want that you have a better life. So you will be more happier if you are following this advice to walk away what is not compatible for you and your development in life. Thank you for watching this video, and I see you by the next book report. Bye bye.